Today we're making spring rolls. Now the difference between an egg roll and a spring roll is an egg roll usually has some kind of meat, either chicken or shrimp. Spring rolls are normally vegetarian or vegan. And the reason I like this recipe so much is you can roll these up ahead of time, store them in the fridge, and then right before you serve them to your guests, you can fry them off. You have a nice crispy appetizer. I'm gonna show you guys how to make a beautiful spring roll sauce. It's gonna go perfect with these. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get to cooking. So the first thing we're gonna do is make the filling for our spring rolls. Now spring rolls are about 90% cabbage. You can pretty much use any vegetables you want, but I'm gonna make this first because it has to cool a little bit before we roll our spring rolls. Now you can use a large pan. I'm gonna use a large wok here on medium heat. We're gonna add a little bit of an oil here. I like to use a neutral oil, about a tablespoon or two. And once the oil is hot, we're gonna go ahead and add some cabbage. This is about a quarter head of cabbage. Now you're gonna see a common theme here. All the vegetables are gonna be julienne, because if you think about it, the spring rolls are long. We wanna make sure the vegetables sit in there nice. We're gonna season the cabbage with just a little bit of salt, not too much, and some black pepper. You can also use white pepper. Needs a touch more oil. Now you wanna start with the hardest vegetables first. So the cabbage is just beginning to soften. We're gonna add our carrots now. It's gonna take the longest to cook. And I like to have my vegetables have a little bit of snap in my spring rolls. Keep in mind too, we're gonna deep fry these, so you don't want the vegetables to be completely soft. So these have been going for about 5 minutes or so. They're still a little bit hard, but that's okay. We're gonna cook them a little bit longer. Now the carrots add a little bit of sweetness. I'm also gonna go in with some red bell pepper, just to add a little bit more additional sweetness to our spring rolls here. We're gonna add some bean sprouts. These are optional, but I like them. About a half a cup of cucumber and 2 bunches of green onion. Give everything a toss till combined. I'm gonna make a little hole right here in the center. We're gonna add our minced garlic and a little minced ginger. Let that fry for about 30 seconds, then go ahead and mix it into the rest of the vegetables. Now you're gonna push all your vegetables to the top of the wok here, and we're gonna add a little bit of soy sauce and about a teaspoon or so of some sesame oil. Once that soy sauce starts to simmer, go ahead and mix it into the rest of the vegetables. So now it's been another 3 minutes or so. The vegetables are looking nice and sweat down. I'm gonna give this a quick taste for some salt. Needs a little bit more soy sauce, so I'm gonna add some dark soy sauce because I want the color to be a little bit more vibrant. We're gonna turn off the heat, and now you can see our vegetables here. They're not completely soft, they still have a little bit of snap. We're gonna go ahead and set this aside and let them cool down. Now let's move on to making our spring roll sauce. And just to tell you, this stuff is addictive, so be careful. Now in a medium-sized saucepan on medium heat, we're gonna start with a half a cup of water, 1/4 cup of fish sauce, 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, about a tablespoon of chili garlic sauce, 1 tablespoon of salt, and then look away for this, 1 cup of sugar. Since this is a dipping sauce, you're only gonna use a little bit just to dip your spring roll in. We're gonna let this simmer for about 3 minutes, just until the sugar's dissolved. It's meant to be a thin sauce. It's not gonna thicken up. Now we're gonna turn off the heat here. We're gonna let this cool until it's about room temperature. Now let's move on to rolling our spring rolls. So what I have here are these vegan egg roll wrappers. Now when you go to the store, they'll either say egg roll wrappers, they'll say spring roll wrappers. It's basically the same thing. Now since this is vegan, keep in mind though, this recipe is not 100% vegan because there's fish sauce in the sauce. Now, if you have somebody come over and they're vegan, just maybe they'll dip it in a little bit of soy sauce and it should be fine. Now to keep this 100% vegan, you're gonna have to use a cornstarch slurry to seal your spring rolls. Otherwise, we're not gonna make our own wrappers. 99% of you guys aren't gonna make your own wrappers. It's completely fine just to go ahead and go to the store and buy these. All right, so we have our filling here that's cooled down. Then we have our cornstarch slurry that we'll use to seal our spring rolls. So you're gonna take your spring roll wrapper, lay it diagonal on the cutting board. Then we're gonna add a few tablespoons of our filling, probably around 3 tablespoons or 1/4 cup or so, right in the center. Make sure you get all the vegetables. I was missing a carrot. Then you're gonna take some of your cornstarch here, the glue as I like to call it, and you're just gonna brush it right on the corner of the wrapper. I've been experimenting with this. We're gonna go ahead and fold the sides in first. Then we're gonna go ahead and fold this over onto itself and tuck it in. Just like this, keeping those sides folded in. Then you're gonna continue to roll onto the cornstarch slurry mixture, and it's gonna seal the spring roll perfectly. Then you're gonna repeat the process with the rest of your spring rolls. Now to cook these spring rolls, it's real easy. We have some vegetable oil heated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's only gonna take a few minutes to fry these. Since the insides are cooked, we're just trying to make the outside nice and crispy. In batches now, we're gonna go ahead and drop in a few of our spring rolls. It's not gonna take long, probably around 3 to 5 minutes per batch. Just make sure you don't overcrowd the oil. Now these have been in here for about 3 or 4 minutes. They're nice and bubbly, super crispy. We're gonna go ahead and drain them on a wire rack and repeat the process with the rest of our spring rolls. Now, egg rolls are typically an appetizer, so we're gonna serve these real simple. Just go ahead and throw them on one side of a plate. Just go ahead and stack them up, and then serve the dipping sauce on the side. So I went ahead and cut one of these open here, just so you guys can see how beautiful it looks on the inside. Let's go ahead and give them a taste. Give it a little dunk-ski first. Your guests are gonna be shocked at how good these are. Wow, phenomenal. So this is what I have to say. Obviously they're crispy. Nice crunch on them. The carrots and the peppers have some good sweetness on the inside, but to tell you the truth, that sauce has got a lot of sweetness, so even if you left the peppers and the carrot out, you probably wouldn't be disappointed. Our vegetables still got a nice amount of snap. You just gotta make sure when you're rolling these, pro tip, don't have a lot of liquid inside when you're rolling them. You wanna make sure that it's pretty much dry. There could be a little bit in there, especially if you're gonna make these ahead of time. If you're gonna fry them right away, you can get away with a little more liquid inside your spring rolls. Other than that, A1, A+ appetizer for you guys to try at your next party. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you wanna see me cook next. And if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, give me a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.